Can you please just hear me out?
No, all work management platforms are the same. They take forever to learn, and in the end, no.
GM, welcome. We're gonna wait a few more minutes. Michael, welcome. Enjoy the gorilla playing beats on the. The music just stopped. I just got ragged by YouTube. There we go. We're back. Okay, Michael, you are on. We are done with this monkey playing music. We are nearly live. We're waiting for Mati and Bar. Let's do a quick mic check. Can you hear me? Are you talking to me? I can't hear a word you are saying. Oh, you are talking on the phone. Ha! I felt like I got Inception. Can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
How are you?
Good. Let's get cooking. Bar is coming in. We have Mati coming in. We're gonna start cooking. We are having a giveaway, a questions giveaway. We have a lot of people saying hi, a lot of people saying what's up. GM to Omri, what's a nice profile pic. We need to get Omri. We need to get Omri a PFP of some weird looking monkey or a cat or a frog or something, something that suits him, something hardcore. But GM, everybody, welcome to the breakfast show. I have
it would be like,
yeah. I have with me Michael. How do you pronounce your surname in English?
Mine, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, your
Michael.
surname, your last name.
Oh, my last name.
Say it?
It's
How do you say it?
It's Bar Zeev or Bar Ziv.
Barziv is a good one. Barziv is like,
It's just easier to say in English.
yeah. Barziv. So we have Michael. We're joined with Omri. We're talking real world asset tokenization. We're talking about Bitcoin. And we have Mati on the line. And just in time, because I wanted to talk about probably one of the
What
hottest.
time did you guys start?
I just get on a little early to get the.
Early.
I get on a little early to set up the the show and the stream and whatever. But look, I always text you.
It's
the
on
link.
my calendar for 11 a.m. It's now 2 minutes to 11. I saw you guys like, where's Mati? What do you mean, where's Mati?
First of all, I'm glad that got your attention. It means the algorithm's working. But also, I sent you on WhatsApp. I send you the stream every morning, every like Tuesday morning, and it always says like last seen at like 3:40 p.m. a.m. or like last seen at 2 a.m. So I'm like, oh shit, Muddy had a late night. Like he's not like you 9 out of 10 times you're awake and you're ready to go, but that 1 out of 10 times it's just like, did Muddy have too late a night? Was he like, were you trading Dogecoin at 4 in the morning? Did you find some setups? Like, is that what happened? So that's why I have to make sure to
but you flipping this on me is terrible because you put the calendar event for 11 a.m. Okay, it's now 1 minute before 11. You can't start going, "Where's Mati?" before the event was even scheduled.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do.
I'm trading Dogecoin at 150x leverage until 5 a.m. It's possible. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to confirm it, but I'm not going to deny it. But this is me being late here. It's not on me. Not today.
You're not late. You're on time. And I just changed all the events. They are starting 15 minutes early. So you can come and prep. You can start prepping. That's it. But GFU, Mati, I want to talk.
I want to say that I've seen Mati in Dubai. So you don't know what time zone he's in, bro. When you're seeing this last scene, you don't know what time zone someone's in. Remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, my son uses my WhatsApp pretty frequently, probably more frequently than me.
Your son uses your WhatsApp?
That's a conversation in itself.
Yeah, he does. He keeps in touch with all of his aunts, uncles, and cousins and stuff. He's a good boy. 6 years old.
How old is he?
6.
That's cool. And he's like that. He loves my kid also loves to call family overseas. It's a good habit to draw in him at a young age. But I'm not giving him his. It's good. Like I'll probably have that future ahead of me. You can use my spare phone, the one that I have a bunch of crypto wallets on, like while with supervision. Because like my wife and I were talking, it's like, what age do you give a child a device? Like, and like for me, before his bar mitzvah, it's not even a conversation. Like, there's no way he's getting a smartphone at 12. Like, that's just gonna mess with his brain. Like,
I love you, but you have no idea. So, what's your oldest kid?
He's 3 now. He's like starting to play computer. He's starting to like understand the vibe.
Awesome. Listen to this. So, my kid's 12. I have a teenager, and it doesn't matter what you want. It matters what's happening in the class. You're not going to leave your kid as the last kid with a smartphone. You may be leaving him as the last kid, but that's not going to be more than like this amount of time. So it's really not up to you. It's up to the coalition. Try to get the moms and the dads together to deny it as much as they can. So that's really
the second his friends have it, I guess. Like,
I see. My philosophy is the opposite. Okay, embrace technology. Give it to them as young as possible so that they can be ahead in this life.
Yeah,
I'm
I hear
not
that.
against
But
that.
also,
My kid created a business. Like he He did his own pre-seed stage. He did research. He did comp analysis. He created a deck. He created a website. He pitched me the idea. He's 12. It's
Nice.
amazing what they can do.
Can we get it on train?
With the tool.
Can we tokenize it on shift?
Perhaps we should have him on this show.
I'm getting him to do some of my research. So he asks what's going on, who's investing, who are we talking with, who are we partnering with. He's really interested. And then he goes and checks. And then he's like, whoa, they got Ronaldo. He got Ronaldo, by the way.
My son will not take off his Ronaldo jersey. Yeah.
Get him on Binance, Australia on Binance. But
I want to token stuff like that, like football player talent. How about that?
Yeah, but that's always been that kind of likeness and image tokenization. That's always been like a nice in theory, but in practice it just leads to like meme coin grifting and exploitation. That's the opposite of what we're here to talk about.
Why does it have to? It doesn't have to. See what the failures of the
Name
past.
one successful celebrity token that has managed to add value in this world. One example of a celebrity.
Wait.
token
You just said
done well and brought value.
Wait.
One.
Let me ask you a question. No,
You want me to start naming
zero.
what haven't in money drifts? I can do it all day.
But let's not. Let's try to find a solution, not try to destroy it. No, let me answer you this. No, wait. I have an answer. I seriously have an answer. The fact that it's not been done well doesn't mean it can be done well. And the thing is, it hasn't. And now, imagine this. You have tokens for whatever talent, okay? And I'm talking sport, not celebrity. Okay, celebrity is kind of, it's a more risky investment in some ways, maybe less in others. I don't know. It's a calculation there, but I don't want to talk about celebrities. I want to talk about a talent, which is young. And now you can invest in him, literally invest in that person and, encourage him to do the sport that he's doing and getting better at it and doing rev share because you're an investor. And I think it's a win-win. I'm not sure. It just stopped. We're playing with ideas.
So here's an example.
This is not our main business. If everybody who's listening, I don't want to confuse anybody. This is not what we do. We're just playing with ideas. I don't think Mati's doing that either.
No, but seriously though, because again, my daughter's a hip hop dancer. She's absolute winner. She's won 3 national champions and now going to global stage. This shit is fucking expensive. Okay. Flights and hotels and that stuff, it all adds up. We opened her a GoFundMe so that friends and family can participate in this. Okay, now that is the way it is done. Now you're saying, now take that idea of the friends and family helping out and turn them into investors. Now, when do they get paid? At what point? Okay. So let's say she holds up the international championship trophy. There's one trophy. She's not selling it and giving it back as dividends to the investors, right? That's her moment on the stage with her pride and representing her country and everything like that. And that's wonderful. But at what point do investors get paid? Like, how can you call that an investment? Is it contribution?
Mati, you're wading into dangerous territory here, like trying to sell future cash flow on your daughter. It's very like a very thin fine line over here.
I was never suggesting that. I was actually suggesting the opposite. I think it doesn't actually make 0 sense. You can't, like a celebrity, let's say Ronaldo, right? He tokenizes himself. What is he going to do? Like next endorsement deal, he's going to take 50% of it and give it to the token holders. It doesn't
not a
make
bad
any
idea.
sense. It's not going to happen.
Not a bad idea.
He's not going to do it.
In a lot of ways.
I get it.
Like
not going to happen.
It seems to be a problem. Wait till
Gary Gensler hears about this. Ronaldo in handcuffs. You've been tokenized.
Gary Gensler is enjoying early retirement. Thank the Lord. We don't have him, but I think it's a solution in search of a problem. I think like a lot of things in blockchain are just kind of like, oh, let's tokenize it because we can. Like we're doing this event on Thursday, pizza party. Everyone's invited in Tel Aviv, going to be huge. And one of the teams we partnered up with, they made us create a sign up, sign up link that in order to reserve your spot, you need to sign in with an Ethereum address and then get an NFT ticket. Like people, we want to get normal people. We don't want to get these, we don't want to have to make you have to download MetaMask, get gas, save your seed phrase. I just want to add this party to my calendar.
Yeah, they just use Luma for that. It's a Web2 app. It
yeah,
works just
so Luma or Eventbrite, but sometimes you just kind of have problems in solutions in search of a problem. But speaking of a problem that was solved and solved expertly, I want to start today's show from this big news out of Israel and Wall Street. eToro IPO last week, at around a $6 billion valuation. Off the bat, the company was founded in 2007, which is 2 full years before Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. And they were one of the first people to embrace Bitcoin as it went live. And, they were one of the first companies to build a trading platform and ecosystem around cryptocurrencies. And the man in the middle over here was there to witness those early days. So, first of all, I want to say a big mazal tov, congrats to Mati, and also kind of get your take on the IPO, on what it means 18 years later to kind of see the company go public, and to tell us some of the stories from the early days.
Yeah. So I was there a total of 7.5 years, from 2019. From 2012 until 2019. I watched the company grow from 100 employees up to 1,000, more than 1,000. I remember when they reached 1,000 employees, we had a little party. We moved from a little rinky-dink, smelly office in Ramat HaChayal to the Champion building, level like 37, 38. I think 2 full floors in the Champion building with an amazing view of the sea from there. I'm honored to have been part of some of their most successful campaigns, spearheading their marketing push towards cryptocurrencies in 2017. That was an incredible adventure, representing the company through televised interviews, article quotes and stuff like that, radio interviews on the likes of Bloomberg and CNBC and all of the top tier financial news on a regular, like almost daily occurrence. It was really an incredible push for my career, and I learned a lot. And I feel like I had a very strong hand in the success of the company at that time that I was there. Yeah, I mean, leaving eToro was one of the riskiest moves of my life, by far. At a good job, steady income, and at the time a kid on the way. But the markets were good in 2019. I felt like it was the right time. I had reached the maximum growth I could within the company. There wasn't anything. They weren't gonna ever name me CEO. That role was taken. So
what was your position? Sorry.
Senior market analyst. So it's kind of like a jack of all trades. I did a lot of work in the marketing field, in PR, and also helping the devs figure out where to take the platform, what kind of features, how to the UI, UX, everything like that. I was kind of like the go-to guy.
But the bulk of your job was just saying Bitcoin's going up forever. That was like
I built their membership benefits package. Well, I mean, at the time, in 2017, like there weren't a lot of people in the news that knew what they were talking about as far as Bitcoin is concerned. So nowadays, like you could throw a pen and every analyst like knows what a blockchain is and how to explain it to a reporter. Like, so I was able to thankfully say, okay, I can take a step back from just explaining it over and over again, and let the juniors do that. But yeah, I mean, the IPO, so I've been holding on to the shares since I left, actually, because of the pension laws in this country. I was able to leave after 7.5 years with quite a sizable pension. Exercised all of my options on leaving the company, using the pension funds that they sent me. And then the rest of the pension I put into Bitcoin exactly as it dipped when COVID hit. If you remember that COVID dip, that was my entry into Bitcoin, with the remainder of the pension funds. Over the last, I mean, obviously the last time they went public, they were talking about a 10 billion valuation, 11 billion valuation. That would have been much nicer than 6. But I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I still don't know how many of my shares have been sold or at what price. They have not yet told me. We'll figure that out as it comes. But look, I mean, as far as eToro is concerned, eToro is a family. It's like a family to me. I'm really like the people that I worked with. They have amazing parties, right? When they know how to work hard, and they know how to play hard. Several times we flew to Cyprus, the entire company, to for a weekend, just to party. I've flown all around.
eToro also has like a very strong the PayPal mafia of Israeli crypto. Like a lot of alumni, spread out building their own things. Like the kind of fingerprint of the company is felt in a lot of different ventures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got my financial license at eToro. The CySEC, the Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission, at one time said anybody who's talking to a customer needs to get a license. So they were flying over people for the basic exam. There's basic exam and then advanced exams. The basic exam, I remember I flew in a group of 10, and only 3 or 4 people actually passed the test. I was the only one at that time to ever attempt the advanced exam. I remember doing the test on Tisha B'Av, fasting, and just praying as I clicked the last button, and I ended up passing by 2 questions. So it's they give you a book this thick of things to study, and then most of the test questions are not actually in the book. So you just need to use the book as a reference to study everything else around it. It's oh, how does this work? How does that work? And of course the questions are all translated from Greek into English. So very poor translation. You're trying to figure out what the tester was trying to really ask you at the same time. But all in all, I would say that has springboarded my career in a very serious way. And as somebody who's been involved in the financial markets, pretty much since I was 12 years old, and investing my bar mitzvah money, with my brothers, I can say that it's an exciting future. It's an exciting future that eToro has been part of. Robinhood, with their major announcement yesterday, that they're planning on putting everything on or opening up access to RWA markets, $1 trillion markets, putting them all on chain, and everything that obviously, I'm gonna throw in Cora, because I believe that's literally the future of the way people are going to invest. But it's an exciting world, because we've come from in my short career. I got my first job in an online broker in AvaFX in 2008, and I remember only 0.5% of customers there were actually ever successful, or less. It was shocking at the time, and I think that throughout the period of time that I've been involved in financial markets since then, it's only gotten better for the retail investor. Wall Street Bets has come in and showed the market that even the little guy, can come in and do some real damage, right? And take the small fish can come and take a bite out of the big fish, which is not something that happens in nature, but is happening now. And I think that, we're realizing Satoshi's dream in a very real way, that the democratization of finance is happening right before our very eyes, and that everybody can participate, and everybody can succeed. And the more we add these type of tools, the more we make it easier for people with platforms like eToro, the more people are going to be successful, and the more we can add value and generate value for everyone, rather than just the fat cats at the top. And it's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. I just see the Robinhood news, and I want to cover that as well, because the gentlemen over here have, I'm sure, a lot to say about Robinhood. Before we introduce Michael and Bar, we have to ask a question from the audience, the winning question that will also kind of give us an opportunity to, take stock for a second of where we're sitting. And Bitcoin 105K, but it's not an all-time high 105K, Ellie, but it was an all-time high, as they pointed out in New Hedge, in market cap. So Bitcoin has hit the highest market cap that it's ever been at today. So what key factors do you think are driving the price of Bitcoin? I think for me, I want to kind of point out the bond yields right now that are going pretty crazy. Maybe Mati can show us on his trading views in a second, but there's it's becoming very clear. The US credit rating was downgraded a few days ago, and the bond yields are going up. It's becoming very clear that this fiat Ponzi, of lending money, of going tens of trillions of dollars into debt, is not a sustainable model. And the only alternative to that are hard assets. That's why you had gold rallying earlier in the year, and that's why Bitcoin's catching up right now and will continue to go higher. So, as I say always, Bitcoin's path to global reserve status is preordained. It doesn't need a reason to pump on any given day. But the more and more clear the world becomes of the fiat Ponzi, the more, obviously it will reflect in the Bitcoin price. But what do you think, Mati? Maybe you can show us a graphical representation to give us a little market overview, and then we'll dive straight into Shift RWA. I'm very excited about this project. I'm very excited personally to be back in the RWA game. It's been a while. And I think for me, after spending a year in the trenches, dabbled in this, dabbled in that, I'm obviously very, attentive to the Bitcoin ecosystem. But for me, it comes back to RWA, giving real rights to token, anchoring tokens to value that is, actionable and not vaporware and not, memes and scam. I think that's the only way we get through, to a different alt season, to a new era of tokenization, because the alts are cooked right now. Utility alts, unless you're in a top tier project, it's very hard to raise money. It's very hard to get, any sort of traction. There's 1,000,001 copycats. There's 1,000,001 meme. I think the only way to reset is RWA, and we'll be talking about that. But before we do, I want to get a little market overview for Mati, because I enjoy those too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. Yeah, so what we're seeing lately is classic risk on behavior. And that can really be seen in the stock market. So we saw, when Trump started announcing tariffs and the trade war and stuff like that, the markets had a big sell-off. This is the S&P 500, which is the top 500 stocks in the United States. But since then, we've seen this huge leg up, which is very risk on move. And then here we can see also the US dollar. US dollar actually did sell off a little bit. It's been strengthening over the last few weeks, but still, it's not the type of risk on move that you would say it's all out. Investors are willing to take on lots and lots of risk. And we can see that really evidenced in gold, right? Because gold, we can see this safe haven push which has been really going on for the last over the last year. And just over the last few weeks, where we've seen this risk on move, it has sold off a little bit, right? But not nearly given up most of these gains over the last year. Regarding altcoins, I think you're right. The push towards Bitcoin and the consolidation of the entire market towards Bitcoin is clear, and it surpassed all expectations of all analysts. I mean, many people were saying, look, Bitcoin can't really reach more than 60% dominance in the crypto market. We got to a peak of 65%, which is absolutely outstanding. And just over the last 2.5 weeks, we have seen some semblance of an alt season, but not really. And I'll just show it to you on the charts here. Look at, Bitcoin. These are all weekly candles, right? This is very big picture stuff. And, so Bitcoin here testing its all-time highs, right? The all-time high around 110,000 per coin. And check out stacks. I mean, does that look like it's testing an all-time high? Well, it's not really, right? Here's Pepe. Pepe doing okay, but still, like, the alts have not even recouped. So what you can see on these charts here, this period, this is basically the post-election period. If you remember when Donald Trump won the election from November 8th, or even the day of the election, started a huge rally in the altcoin market. And that has since pretty much reversed itself. And we haven't even recovered most of what's happened there. So Litecoin has maybe recovered 50% or so. But look at Dogecoin. And Dogecoin is like,
there's one asset that you're missing on that chart. I'm sorry, and that's the only Bitcoin proxy that is also pushing all-time high, MSTR, right? We had a big candle to 500, right? But MSTR right now above 400, 420, around, hovering there, looking rather sexy as more competitors and copycats try and emulate the Salem model. You see, you have a big wick up there to 500, but in terms of where the base of the candles are, we're really close to a breakout here on MSTR.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I would not touch that personally. I think it's like, why would you, like, the whole thing is very weird to me. Like, you hear Michael Saylor so eloquently describing why Bitcoin is the primary asset and there will never be any other asset like it. And Bitcoin is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now here, buy my stock. It's just like it sounds like a total bait and switch. Like, I hear what you're saying, Michael, about Bitcoin being amazing. Now let me go buy Bitcoin. And why I would then transition into buying a stock that's based on holding Bitcoin is beyond me. If I want leverage on Bitcoin, I'll go to BitMEX, literally, or MEXC. I'd much rather deal with those scammers because I know they're scammers.
But if you look, I think you mentioned the word leverage. Like, I think, why do people trade anything? People trading out, in and out, they have higher volatility, higher chance of making short-term gain and then parking that in Bitcoin. I don't think Saylor will ever tell you buy my stock and only my stock. But I think as a Bitcoin proxy, proof is in the pudding that it's outperforming, Ethereum definitely.
And it will throughout the bull market. It will outperform throughout the bull market. But then when the bear market comes and he reaches max penetration of what his stock can actually do, then comes a world of pain as this starts to unwind. And not only pain for him, but pain for the rest of the market as well. Because when he fails to find new investors to fund his Ponzi, what happens? It starts to unravel, okay? Then he's being forced to sell the Bitcoin in order to service his massive debt. And that means that there's going to be a lot of sell pressure on Bitcoin itself.
I think
throughout the bull market, as people are rushing towards Bitcoin, and don't get me wrong, the pain can be like, if we run up and have the pleasure zone here, the pain can be like this a little bit in compared to the run up, but it will be devastating for many people.
Yeah, I want to get the guest involved. I want to say GM to Bar. We haven't heard from him yet. Let's get you guys involved. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Any comments you have on the market per se, kind of general roundup. I know Michael's a Sailor stan like myself, right? So I know we've got some Sailor supporters in the audience as well. I think you are right about that. I think there is a big risk of MSTR in a bear market. I think, I think there's no more bear market. Bitcoin's going up forever. The institutional bid is too strong.
Is different, right? The anthem of beginners in the market.
Institutional bid is way too strong. Bar GM, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself? Tell us. We haven't had you on the show yet. Michael's a long-time guest. Maybe give us a little bit about yourself, your thoughts on the market, anything that you can share before we dive into the main course of real-world asset tokenization.
Yeah, sure. So I'm coming in from the payments industry. That's actually my background. So that's what I've been doing before Shift for about 10 years or so. I had a company, still do sometime, where I help new VASPs, new exchanges, or new all sort of fintech companies getting their product market fit, getting their licensing, getting the banking partners specifically, and pretty much everything to take them from this 0 to 1, let's say. So that's what I've been doing. That's my main skill set, I guess. And I met Michael a couple of years ago, I think, through a common friend. And we started discussing the problem that we are missing something on chain that would just allow us to, just store value for a bit, just go to bed, wake up knowing it's still there. Terra Luna was a great example. Yeah, I suffered too. And yeah, that's what drives us here. And for the past couple of years, that's what we've been focusing a bit more now, focusing primarily on how to bring value, how to bring real value on chain.
Awesome. Value is it's an important word in what you guys use, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, I want to bring in Michael, because last time we spoke a while ago when you guys were still Oroka. Now we see big bold letters shift. Maybe tell us a little bit about this kind of change, the shift that you had. Excuse the pun. And just in general, what are you guys doing different in terms of tokenization? Because there's a lot of platforms out there. Some are dealing in tokenized bonds. There's a real estate that's been tried and failed a few times. So there's a lot of options out there. So what Shift doing different?
All right. So let's touch these subjects separately. First of all, we rebranded to Shift, and we think it's a very appropriate name, not only because it's catchy and short and nice, but because it really represents what we're doing. It actually touches the narrative. And the second reason is actually because Oroka was originally a connection between the words aura and rock, which represent gold and rock. And it was born when we were doing something a bit different, more of a stable coin, which we started in the beginning. And I think that people couldn't say it, and I couldn't say it. People asked me how to say the company name, and I said, well, it's Oroka, Auroka, or we weren't sure. And who else was?
You couldn't say it.
That was my breaking point when I was asked, so is it Oroka or Auroka? And I was like, neither. we're just gonna scratch that. We're not doing that anymore. And we just couldn't, because people called us Aurora and Arauca, and Google just doesn't get it. It's like Aurora or a football team in Portugal. Anyhow, it didn't catch on, neither with us, neither with our community. and either with our partners who just couldn't say it. So we really broke our brains on representing this idea in a better way and wrapping it in a better name, which is what we literally did. And I think Shift was the best option, and I want to give credit to Alon, our VP R&D, who actually invented the name out of a brainstorm that few people did, and we were breaking our heads on this for a long time. Came up with thousands of names. Anyhow, this was like Shift, and it just made sense. Like, so we chose it, and we're going with it. Bar is leading all that rebranding stuff. He's the master of visuals and getting things looking super neat. So thank you, Bar. Let's talk a bit about what we do and how we do it differently. So Shift is here to break down the wall between TradFi and DeFi, and we do it in a way that other companies have not done it before. Maybe better. That's for the community to say. So why we think it's better is because the problem until today is that you were not able to bring these assets into the crypto world in a proper representation. So they were neither permissionless and neither a crypto. They were security tokens or synthetics or other types of closed gardens. So we have, let's take, for example, a few of the recent announcements. Some of the central exchanges are getting broker-dealer licenses and going to sell these on their exchange. Why is this different from us? Because you can't transfer that outside of that central exchange. You're not going to send that to your vault in Morpho or to your liquidity pool in Uniswap or to your wallet. It's just there. It stays there. You can't move it around. You can't sell it to Bar or Mati or anybody in that sense. It's not a crypto. I can just open Robinhood or eToro for that matter. And I'm not saying bad things about eToro. eToro is amazing, but it's a different product. It's just a different product. eToro is like a plethora of like any financial tool that you want right there. And it's amazing. And then what we want to do is bring that to DeFi, to actual decentralized exchanges, and see them having this plethora of assets and tools for every person in the world to touch. So we looked at previous attempts. We looked at many security token companies, and I'd even say a lot of dexes that work with synthetics that exist too. And we found a better way to do it. So we literally are taking $1 on this end, taking it to our bank, to our broker, buying an asset. That asset is obviously chosen by the customer. So it initially will start with S&P 500, but then we will launch many other assets. So looking at the pop of trading, it's Magnificent 7, it's QQQ, it's many other tools that are absent in crypto. And we're looking at democratizing the access to them. So it starts with this $1, it goes to the bank, it goes to the broker, it buys the asset. It then is saved in a segregated account. And then we have a smart contract. And the smart contract is checking proof of reserve, and it's looking within this bank account and it's checking if this has backing assets that are sufficient. If it does, you can create a token on the other side, which represents the asset within the bank 100%. So you can either hold it, look at it, do whatever you want with it. We'll talk about what you can do with it. But I want to talk about the ability to cash out or the ability to redeem it. So you can just come and sell it on market price. We will cash out at market price at any given moment, 24/6. Talk about that. And now you literally have this asset on this hand, all right? So you have a token. Let's say it's an ERC20, just for example. And it has 100% backing right over here by, let's say, a Tesla stock, all right? Just for sake of example. So we have a Tesla coin and we have a Tesla stock. And now you take this Tesla coin and you can do a vault with a lending. B, you can stake it. C, you can trade it on a DEX. You can sell it to a friend. You can do whatever you want as you did with any other cryptocurrency in your wallet, any Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. It is no longer a security. We do not create security tokens. We represent the assets 100%, but they are not securities. And this is the specialty. And this is the difference, because all the other attempts to do this were very different and brought a security token in the end result. And the security token was the problem. And we're doing it very differently. And so you end up with a native cryptocurrency, which you can move around from DEXs to dApps to wallets and even CEXs. And we're talking with multiple CEXs because what we have is two types of CEXs. One type, which is going to get a broker-dealer license in 50 states and 200 countries, and he's going to spend billions and years on this project. And good for them. They're going to have a great platform with licenses all around, and it's going to be great. But it is not a cryptocurrency. And then the other ones, and they're going to sell you securities directly, and it's fine. It's good. It's okay. If you trust them, it's okay. Okay? That's fine. I'm not saying anything bad about that. If there's a trustworthy exchange like eToro, for instance, which it's super trustworthy, you know, you get what you see, right? It's fine, but that's not what we do. So on the other hand, we have CEXs, which actually get it, and they don't have, I don't know, maybe the will to go and do this broker-dealer, venture. I'd call it adventure. And then when I talk to them and say, hey guys, so we can actually, put this asset and list it. It's not a utility token. It's not a security token. It's an asset reference token. And then you can put it on this CX and trade it like you did all the other assets. And they have a eureka moment because they get that they actually can trade all the assets that their competitors are now investing billions to get, like crypto.com, Kraken, and other exchanges that are going to get dealer licenses and sell these securities. And they're saying, hey, wait, we can get forward in the game using Shift? Absolutely. So this is something that, we didn't see as our major strategy because we really want, to be on DeFi as the front and foremost. But centralized exchanges that are willing to list this and willing to allow their users to trade it and actually endorse it, that's amazing. I think it's amazing. So that's kind of the gist of it. We'll have a lot of announcements coming soon beyond the rebranding, which is cute. But that's not an announcement. The actual announcements of partnerships, about the blockchains that we're launching on, about when the testnet is coming, when the mainnet is coming, when we're having another community event, I'll say airdrop at some point. So all of these announcements are really coming in the next few weeks. And that's very exciting for us because we've been building this, I wouldn't say, obviously for years, but all of these things that have been ramped up for the past few months that we can't even talk about them, not even now. We're very eager to tell everybody about them. And, there's a lot of bureaucracy. But here we are. I guess this is about it from my point of view. Bar, did I miss something?
You. No, I think that was great. I do have a few follow-up questions, but I want to hear, Mati, what you have to think about this sort of approach to tokenizing real-world assets.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Enjoyed your presentation at the Bit Angels. It was a lot more engaging, I would say. It was like you're out there and
Good add 3 minutes.
with the visual aid and everything. Yeah.
Visual aids, we love it. Next time we do this, you guys have to bring visual aids. We love
You gotta
visual
put your
aids.
pitch deck. You gotta put your pitch deck
sure.
up. Yeah. But I don't know what that was. I don't know if you heard that.
That's me. Somebody's calling me on Telegram. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn that off.
Is that you, Mati?
Yeah, no, it's me. It's me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm turning this off. I'm sorry.
It's your wife. You gotta pick up, dude.
No, it's a Telegram random call.
Oh, okay. So you
my
gotta
wife
block
hits me up on my wife hits me up on Telegram because she knows it's the only thing I have on. So like my phone's in the other room. I'm in the trade. She's like, can you turn off the AC? And she'll hit me up on Telegram. And if I don't answer, I get like a tweet in comment section. You know, and anything to get a hold of me. But I got a question for you guys that I actually haven't brought up yet. But I thought about that on the way home with my brother from the car because I was trying to explain to him what shift is, how you guys do it differently, because it's very important here to understand that, and this is kind of what people make a one-to-one relationship between security tokens and tokenized real-world assets. It's very important for people to understand this distinction between what a security is and the laws that it has to fall under, and then what a cryptocurrency, what an asset reference token, which we will get into soon, and that's what the regulation that you guys fall under. Then I thought about CFDs, right, which is brings us back to eToro, because on eToro you can trade CFDs. Now, CFDs are contracts for difference. It's basically a synthetic, asset that tracks the price of a stock, but it doesn't give you the stock certificate per se. Is that an apt a comparison? Maybe you can kind of double click on that and help me clarify a little bit more this distinction between security tokens, tokenized securities, and the special type of tokens that Shift is bringing to the world.
Bar.
Yeah, for sure. Mati, you wanted to give Mati something before? Or
I'm happy to address that. Actually, this is part of the MiCA regulations, and one of the main innovation of the MiCA regulation was these asset reference tokens. So the MiCA basically says, okay, if you're issuing a money token, which is like Bitcoin or Litecoin, where the primary use is as a form of money, well, then you need to be a money issuer. You need to have a huge banking license. Those things are like millions of dollars and probably billions when you talk about like all the people you need to bribe in order to get one. But actually, and then they say, okay, there's utility tokens, which are something else, which aren't really covered in MiCA more than just being defined as utility tokens. And it's kind of like this kind of sandboxing where they're like, okay, let's see how these utility tokens play out, and then we'll probably come in with MiCA 2 and then give them like actual regulation or whatever. But the asset reference tokens are actually pretty straightforward. This is, I think, really the main meat and bones of what MiCA's done. And guys like you guys are taking full advantage of it and running with it and saying, okay, well, we're allowed to do this now. It's very clearly defined in the laws of Europe, and let's take it forward. So I applaud you for being first to market with such an incredibly simple and innovative concept.
Yeah, I want so let's address like all the differences. First of all, thanks, Mati. Thanks for the support and all. It's great to have these feedbacks that really we are running with this thing for 2 years trying to perfect it, and these feedbacks means a lot to us. Maybe let's take a bit of a step back. So obviously, like you said, there is hopefully we're not going to have a bear market, right? The institutions coming in, everybody's coming in, and I think one of the just a bit about the market, my view, if we want to scale the crypto market and the Web3 and everything, it cannot stay just a meme coin playground and, or tokens that are going up and down 10% a day, 15% a day, this huge volatility. So it's fun, right? It's all good and we love that. But we also, that's not something that can keep capital there for a long time. if we want to bring, let's say, to onboard the entirety of somebody's capital or a large sum of it. So we are constantly bringing new capital on chain, which is great. We see the inflow, like you said, Bitcoin market cap is at all-time high, but we still have to maintain it somehow within the Web3 and not have it leaked out or lost in meme coins. So I think there's a place for everything. If we really want to keep this market interesting, it has to circulate. People will circulate money. That's how I envision it, at least, between their meme coin that they are going and having fun with to something more, let's say, long-term vision like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever project they are really into and believing in. And then they still need something to run for when the markets are bearish, So if on the traditional you have that gold, you have that S&P, maybe things that are a bit, maybe bonds. I think we see now that that's the maturity of the market, that you see suddenly more RWA rising because people have this thirst. And the fact that the institutional coming in, that's great news, I think, for all of us. And the fact that you see it really everywhere. So it's kind of like everybody's trying to bring these RWAs on chain. It used to be real estate. Now it's more focused on the stock market. So yeah, you see crypto.com with their offering, and Bybit they just announced, and they're all kind of forms. And obviously in the decentralized you get the Helix and some other perps dexes. So everybody's trying to resolve it. And now let's talk about the ways to do it, which was the question. So you can have synthetics, right? Either by order book, like Bybit I believe is about to do, without really having the license for it. So I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, Michael, they did. I just checked before. I don't think they got security broker dealer license, and there are some warnings, but that's great. I mean,
good luck to everybody. I'm
not
not against anything as long
yeah,
as
not
it's
against
done.
anybody. I'm just putting out the alternatives out there. So you have that feature which is very similar to the traditional market, and it's great. So you can have perps DEX or order book trading or some form of synthetic trading with leverage, either by a SEX like Bybit, Crypto.com, Kraken, etc., or you can have it on a DEX like Helix and like others that starting to slowly offer more and more perps. I mean, more and more tokenized stock. I mean, it's not really tokenized stock, so stocks trading rather. The way they usually do it, if you want the drill down, if you're a DEX, so basically you're taking a price feed, let's say from Pyth or Chainlink or the likes of them, and you're kind of tokenizing that. So you're just creating a bid and ask. And that works for them, and it's great. And that's a good alternative, but it's still a synthetic, and it's similar to CFD in essence. It's a synthetic asset. You're trading with an order book, and you're kind of trading against the house, I'd say. Then the other option is, like you said, there are security tokens now. Security tokens are like where you have them in Dinari and you have them in Backed. And they did find structure where they can create a permissionless environment on a DEX. But still, just because it's called a token, it doesn't make it a real cryptocurrency, right? So you have this security token, and it's a token, it's out there, but it doesn't really behave like a cryptocurrency. So it's like you're kind of trying to bring this awkward, this basketball into a football pitch, and you wonder why nobody is kicking the ball, right? So you have this instrument that you can only trade it in a very closed environment. You cannot really move it between your OKX account, your MetaMask to, you go lending on Morpho, you go on the spot DEX. It doesn't behave the same as any other cryptocurrency. So although, yeah, you get the self-custodian feature that you're looking for, if that's your thing, right? If you don't want the synthetics, so you get it there with the security tokens, but you still don't have the complete answer, because essentially you cannot sell it anywhere, you cannot move it anywhere. It's very limited in its offering. And we just said, all right, there has to be a better way. And then what we created using this asset reference token classification is basically a native cryptocurrency. It's regulated under crypto regime, so not under MiFID, but under MiCA. And it's not a financial regime, which means it's not a security by definition. It's a cryptocurrency, which means you can actually list it on all DEXs, you can list it on all SEXs, and you can hold it in your MetaMask. All the dApps are available for you. So that's what we believe to be a true representation and the right way of bringing these stocks value and ETFs and the value of them on chain, while still having this 100% back, while still being transparent enough, actually to the max possible, I guess. We are working with PORs, so proof of reserves. We like the whole thing was structured from, again, bringing back to our story, it's structured from a personal pain, I'd say, after losing some money on the Terra Luna collapse. So yeah, we really wanted to create something for the world that is also coming from personal pain. So we want it transparent as possible, trusted as possible. This is why you see our faces and names out there. Yeah, and that's what hopefully makes us unique.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. Thank you for that. That was very comprehensive. You mentioned the one-to-one peg, so it got me curious about how does Shift handle the synchronization of the asset between the on-chain, the off-chain, and what are some of the legal ramifications of that?
Right. So what we do basically, we're actually utilizing a Chainlink mint locker, just as because obviously we can do it in other ways, but we're really banking on this trust and transparency. So we wanted to have this mint locker to really show the world that, look, we can not only we showing you the collateral, we can also not mint more than we actually have in the bank, right? More than the assets we actually have. So say you are going out to the platform and you want to buy $100,000 worth of Tesla stocks. We are actually going and buying those stocks, holding them in a European, very reputable one, bank account, and we post it on chain. And only when we have these assets, we can mint the token. And then obviously we started looking, okay, so how we can make it as close to 24/7 as possible. We did manage to find all kind of mechanisms to get to 24/6 that will allow us to offer buying and selling, or minting and burning, rather 24/6. But yeah, that's the idea. Only then the mint locker can allow us to mint. So you have on one end, the mint locker, just to briefly touch on that, what it does is it summarizes on one end all the collateral that you currently hold from all the different accounts, whether it's one bank account, two bank account, a prime broker account. It summarizes all that and it compares it to your on-chain circulation across all supported chains. In that way, the user can know for a fact that we are not under collateralized at any point. And also we have the proof of reserve, of course.
That's cool. That's proof of reserves is super important. Anything you guys want to share? We're getting to the last few minutes of the show. Thank you so much for listening in. Anything you guys want to share about, potential like cool announcements, anything that you have coming up, things that we should be watching out for. Now is the time.
I want to share, if that's okay. It's just so that people understand what I'm going through. So here is a calendar invite for today's show that was set for 10:45. However, this calendar invite was sent to me 55 minutes ago at 11:59. So if you send me a calendar invite at 11:59 and tell me that the show is starting at 10:59, you send me the invite for 10:45. How do you in the world expect me to show up on time for such an event? Well, I'm not a freaking time traveler over here, okay?
Time machine, bro.
Yes. Okay, maybe. Actually, you know what? No, not going to be there. All right.
Mati, you've got I standard for the future, but now we've resolved our we've resolved our situation, and let me know about your what's coming up. I thought you had a big announcement. Like, didn't Cora just release a beta app, and then you use your 5 minutes of fame to shit talk me instead of to pump your bag? That's a classic crypto breakfast show time.
We have over 120 people who've using the beta on Android. We're gonna try and release the beta on iPhone pretty soon. Our servers are packed, so we've limited the beta at the moment. The dev has shut off access for new entrants. So we're getting some great feedback and looking to push forward. If you want to be among the first to try it, go to Cora.finance and put your email there. Sign up for early access. We'd love to have you with us. And upgrade our servers, obviously, so that we can handle some more traffic. But as far as our guests are concerned, I absolutely look forward to showcasing your assets within the Cora Finance app, because this is what it's all about. It's not just about buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? The app is designed for everybody who wants to invest online, and doing that on chain and bringing those assets on chain gives us an easy way to integrate them into Cora and give them to all of our users, with all of the benefits of having self-custodial on-chain assets. Should be pretty simple.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Beautiful.
We definitely subscribe to that, and that's something we're actually working on. So how do you onboard new capital to Web3, right? Because we have to keep it going. We have to keep scaling for the benefits of all of us, I guess. The community, everybody benefits with there's more capital rather than a bear market. So yeah, that's definitely, I see this migration of traditional assets on chain helping to kind of as a hook almost to get to this non-Web3 native capital on chain. And then once they're there, it's easier. They see something familiar, because essentially what you want to do is you don't want to get them a UI that it's complex. You want a simple UI. You want just the underlying infrastructure to be blockchain one, right? That's the best way. You give them something familiar, such as those assets, and then they easily go and explore the rest of the Web3 when they feel a bit more confident.
I'm gonna have to stop you. I have a call in 1 minute, and I'm so sorry. I can't be late. Bar,
Yeah,
you guys.
also the invite also only says until 12. So at 12:01,
Yeah, you should
Mati's gonna say that it's punctual. I'm right that I'm dropping off, right?
There you go.
Thank you guys for joining in.
Hey, much love. Thank you so much, Dudu. Thank you so much, Mati. Love you.
For future reference, when you schedule a live stream, know that it tends to go over by 5 or 10 minutes. That's just a general rule in live streaming.
I need to schedule the calendar invite from 10:45 to 12:15. Everyone's life is better.
Yeah, block. I'm sorry.
Except for my 10 a.m., which now has an overlap of 15 minutes, which I have to account for, but fine.
Do you have a 10 a.m. every morning?
We owe you.
Every Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's all right. I can figure that one out.
All right. We can figure that one out. Thank you guys for joining. Next week, we have Shachav Bar-Geffen from Koti on the show. And then we have quite a lineup. We have the week after, Mati, we have a guest from an AI avatar company. It lets you create like personalities that you can fall in love with, like her, like that movie. So we're going to speak to them about what they're building. A lot of stuff coming. We'll definitely hear from the Shift guys again. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Thank you.
You got to push the button. We're still live. It says we're live. All right. I'm just going to hang up now.